800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Tuesday. Losses here, and that's what you get with higher rates. The Dow picking up steam now here, but down 350. The S&P's down 42. The Nasdaq's down 90. And that's a little better because Apple's not having a horrible. Apple's down a little, but Apple was actually up early on, helping the Dow a little bit here. Gold, as expected, some profit taking here. It's going to be a good day to buy. Gold's down 30 at 18.25. Silver down 88 cents. We're working on something on silver. Hopefully, we'll have it ready for you before the end of the show. So be ready for that. $20.11. You know, obviously, having money tied to Wall Street is always risky. They try to somehow convince you that it isn't. But again, what happened last year, if you take Jay Powell at his word today, they're going to be hiking rates all year long. That is going to be a really tough place to be. But that's why you call our friends at Invest Y Refi. You can get up to 10.25% return. It's not correlated to Wall Street. They don't care. Jay Powell, go ahead. Raise all rates. Make up words. Make up things that aren't true. Then come out weeks later and just say, oh, well, it just didn't happen. Oh, sorry. No, we thought it was going to happen. Just didn't happen. Oh, did we lose credibility? Oh, well, right. You know, China's war drums now starting to beat. Have something put away where, hey, you know what? It's not tied to any of those things. That is our friends at Invest Y Refi. You got to have at least $50,000. That's the minimum that they will allow. But it really is a great way to look at things. You'll know what your statement looks like every month, right? You're not going to have to worry about it. Well, you know, man, the Dow was down a couple thousand points this month. Doesn't affect you at all. Check them out, investYrefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or call 888 Y Refi 24, 888 Y Refi 24. You know what's amazing, Jason, is, and this is how you know the game is rigged against you. They were wrong about transitory. Really wrong. Right? Really wrong. Just think where we'd be right now if the Fed had done the job they told us they were going to do. Because you got to remember, they only had two mandates. Full employment, stable dollar. Those are the only two mandates. And by stable dollar, they're what they really mean is no inflation, right? And they even told us, they gave us a measuring tool for the inflation. Of course, what we remember what that is, right? 2%. Anything above 2%, and we're not doing our job the way we'd like to. That's for them. That is nirvana for now. For now, that is nirvana. And yet the mainstream media gives them pass after pass after pass. Right? CNBC, Fox, right? The cheerleader stations that I tell you about. Right? They allow for the male feces. And guess what? This is what we're left to deal with now. Right? Inflation ran wild in 2021. Well, the Fed stuck its head up its backside and pretended it wasn't happening. Right? Remember what they told us. Jason, it was a supply chain problem. Right? Remember, right? It was a supply chain problem. Well, yep. How many ships are sitting out waiting to get into the docks in LA? How many ships are out there in Long Beach? You don't hear about, because guess what? There aren't any. Right? Look at Ford. Look at General Motors. Hey, we're gonna have to cut production. Oh, we're out of chips? Oh no. Well, we got the chips. We just made too many vehicles and nobody's buying them. It wasn't a supply chain problem. And just like his predecessor, Ben Bernanke, who lied and lied and lied, and it was a lie. Believe me when I tell you. Oh, the housing market's a little frothy. It's just a subprime problem. Yes, inflation's, it's just transitory. Oh, wait, we got to worry about disinflation, right? I mean, Jason, it's the same record, right? It's the same record. All they did was change a few verses, but it's the same record.
Yeah, the head of the Fed, its main job is just to make everybody feel comfy and safe. That's all. It's, just shush, shh. Pretty much, isn't that all they ever do? Shh. That's all they do, Joe. They just everything's quiet. You take it easy. Everything's fine. When did they ever say? I don't know. Has the Fed ever said, even in the middle of the '08 housing crash, did they ever say, "Wow, this is really horrible. And it's getting worse"? When have they ever said that? Have they ever said that,
Have
Joe?
they ever admitted we screwed up? Right? No. Right? And of course not. Matter of fact, what do they try to? Oh, we're just trying to help. Well, I got news for you, J. Powell. Do your job. Now, based on what he said today, you would imagine that we'd have a 50 basis point rate hike come Wednesday. At least, I mean, really, we probably have 75. Honestly, truthfully, if they wanted to do their job, we would have 75 to a full basis point rate hike on Wednesday. Not tomorrow, 8 days from today. So far, the best I've seen, the odds have moved up a little bit. But even right now, not even 50% chance of a 50 basis point rate hike. Now, Jay Powell did say, if the data gets worse, we'll be prepared to raise rates at a faster pace. Well, wait a minute. You told us that your job is price stability, and we got inflation that is the way you measure it. I didn't create the way you measure. You created it. And you said it's at 6.4, and the data that's come in since then has gotten no better. And yet you're not willing to admit that you're behind the curve. And Jason, this is the problem.
I think he's doing his job. Here's the thing, Joe. You're saying to tell him to do his job. I think he's doing the job he was hired for. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, Joe. And here's the whole thing. They can raise the rates any day of the week. They don't have to wait for these meetings and these.
No, they can have a meeting right now.
Yep, they can raise it tomorrow, and they can do 2%. And then if 2% is too much, next week they can lower it another half point or something, right?
800-951-0592. Joe and Jason will be back right after the break. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason still chasing here. I'm waiting for one of the girls to walk in here with a slip of paper. We are chasing product right now. The markets are absolute insanity right now. I think everybody is really ducking for cover underneath all of this, right? The outside of it, if you look at the outside of Wall Street, you're like, okay, well, it's not terrible. It's not horrible, right? The next big leg down hasn't happened yet. But when you look at what the central banks have been doing, and think about the story we did yesterday. How in the hell does the World Gold Council underreport central bank gold buying by 45 metric tons? Just to give you a little bit of an idea, 1 metric ton is 32,150 ounces. And they missed that 45 times. Right? They first reported central bank buying of 33 metric tons. But then, who was it? Was it Taiwan or Singapore? I can't remember which country it was. Officially came out with an announcement. Hey, we bought almost 45 metric tons in January. Well, that was more than the World Gold Council said the whole month was. And they all just, we made a mistake.
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%.
And of course, the only reason we found out is because the country that bought it released an official announcement. Remember, think about last year. We still don't know who bought remember last year, a new all-time record high as far as the central bank gold buy. We still don't know about half of the gold where it went because those countries didn't want to report. They didn't want to say that it was them. Obviously, a lot of us think a lot of that could be China, but who knows, Jason? It could be anybody. And then today, the Perth Mint, which has been supplying kilo bars to the Shanghai Gold Exchange, may have salted the kilo bars a little bit. Didn't quite deliver the purity that they were supposed to deliver. And Jason, it's incredible to think about all of this stuff that's happening, and all of a sudden now it seems like they just want to deliberately misrepresent how much gold is actually being bought out there.
Well, I think a lot of the buyers don't necessarily want to report how much they have, Joe. Let's face it, when it comes to economic warfare, which is what this is turning into, it's not really a good idea to let the other side or even any competing agency, central bank, country know what you have. How can you bluff at the poker table if you're not actually having the cards that you can bluff with, right, Joe? You need to have that position a little bit secret, right? I think this is why none of these countries, America doesn't really report what they have, do they, Joe? I mean, I don't think any of these countries do. Who knows what they actually have? And so it's funny when somebody who's actually trying to do the bean counting is like, oh, wait a minute, this amount of beans doesn't match up. So it just proves what I'm saying, which is who knows how much they have, but it sure. There is enough information to show that they're buying a lot, Joe. They're buying a ton. It's obvious that it's happening.
Yeah. So when you think about the amounts, you got to understand, what does that mean? Well, they've got to pick a currency to sell, to buy the gold. And right now, what we're being told is the currency they're selling is dollars. They're selling dollars to buy the gold. And again, I think this is very significant. I think Jason's probably right, and I hate to admit that Jay Powell's doing his job. His job is to lie. That's his job. He's a bald-faced liar. He should be tried for treason today. He's testifying in front of Congress, and he's lying. Period. He knows. He knows. But he doesn't want to say.
What country do you think is buying most of this gold? Well, if you had to just pick the country, which country is buying the most?
Well, I think it's simple. Go ahead.
Probably China, right? It's probably China.
Probably.
I mean, probably. And if they just printed 600 billion yuans, what do you think they're using? They're not going to tell you out loud what they're using a lot of that money for. What do you think they're buying, Joe? Obviously, that's a good way to.
The problem that I want people. Here's the thing I want people to know. It's more than China. More than China. It's more than Russia. It's more than Turkey. It's more than Brazil. It's more than India. There's a lot of nations selling dollars and buying gold. And they're doing that for a reason. And there's also a reason why they don't want to say that they've done it. Right? People understand that. Do you get it yet? Do you understand when I tell you they didn't fix the financial crisis? It didn't get fixed. You leave your money in the bank at your own free will. You've been warned. Listen, I want to be wrong. I want a miracle. I do. I want somehow, some way that inflation miraculously goes away, defies all the laws of economics, and magically goes away. There's no magic to this. You want to get rid of inflation? It's called recession. And really, in this case, because the bubble's so big, it's going to be most likely depression. That's when it goes away. 800-951-0592. I've got my slip of paper. We've got a silver special coming up next. $800-951-0592. This is an absolute fire sale on $50 today. I've got 300 rolls of $50 at $200 a roll. So 20 $50 at $200 a roll. At 800-951-0592. Add here and add big here. This is way down there on $50 rolls, Jason. And it's something where, again, today I wouldn't be surprised. Wall Street now down almost 400 points. This is probably going to be an ugly day all over the markets as, again, they've been behind the curve in inflation, continue to be behind the curve in inflation, continue to try to give out this line that makes no economic sense whatsoever. Somehow, some way, we're going to defy the laws of economics. It's just not going to happen, Jason. And that's why you're seeing people putting gold and silver away, period.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to 1964 and older silver, the silver dollars always carry that heavier premium. They're always a little more expensive. I mean, people love those silver dollars. That heavier premium has carried down to the $50 through the years. And to get them at $200 a roll is a pretty good price, man. That is really an opportunity because once we haven't had a lot of silver dollar specials. The old Peace and Morgan dollar.
They've been expensive. Jason's right. The premium's been too high. Just think about this. Right now, if you go to allamericangold.com, they're $220. That was where they were at. Now, granted, silver's off 80 cents. But that's not that would bring the price down to about $215. Not $200. So this is a huge opportunity. We called in a favor to one of our big suppliers out there and said, come on, man, let's heat this up. Let's give value out there. We got a great opportunity here. Rolls of silver, $50 at $200 a roll. If you buy 100 rolls, right, that's a full bag. Jason, a full bag of halves at $20,000. That's insanity. I mean, full bags of $50 early in 2021 and into 2022, you're at almost 30 grand because the premiums on $50 were almost as high as the premiums on Silver Eagles.
That's correct. So yeah, as Joe's talking, it's $1 a coin less today. So $1 or less per coin in that roll. So yeah, these $50 are a little harder to get than the quarters and the dimes. So to get them the $50 at essentially the price of the quarters, that's a really cool thing. That's a really good opportunity to get the bigger coins. I mean, these aren't the big ones, these aren't the dollars, but these are the $50, and we don't have these specials as regularly as quarters and dimes because the quarters and dimes are. Well, we can grind those out and sell those all the time, and plus they're a little cheaper, the dimes at least. But I love it. I love the $50, Joe. There's a nice big silver coin you can get your hands on. A little more than a third of an ounce of silver in each $50.
Yeah, there you go. 800-951-0592. Catherine Austin Fitz out again saying that there is a major fight between commercial banks and central banks over this digital currency. I think the commercial banks are going to figure, just kind of like I told everybody, hey, we don't need 4,000 commercial banks with a digital currency, right? Catherine Austin Fitz, we'll probably talk about her tomorrow. But Jason and I, listen, we're